I didn't think the night would end with me standing barefoot on the sidewalk, clutching a backpack and tasting blood in my mouth. But life doesn't warn you before it flips everything. "What kind of useless trash is this?" my father said, loud enough for every single guest to hear. 30 people, crystal glasses, laughter frozen midair. And then, smack. The sound didn't echo. It didn't need to. It landed on my face, on my life. I remember the exact moment my world split in two. The version of me who stayed silent and the version of me who finally walked away. I just didn't know yet that walking away would lead me straight into the truth. My name is Hillary, not the name they forced on me, not the one printed on birthday cards that never felt like mine. I'm 21 years old, and this is the story of the night I lost everything and somehow found everything that was stolen from me. That morning started like every other. 5 a.m. Alarm. Not because I had somewhere important to be, but because someone else decided I did. The kitchen counter had a list waiting for me. 2 full pages. Not suggestions, orders. Sweep, scrub, arrange chairs, polish silverware evenly, God forbid they weren't perfect. Their house looked like something out of a magazine, clean, polished, perfect. But perfection has a smell, and it smells like control. While I was on my hands and knees scrubbing tile floors, my sister was upstairs picking outfits and scrolling her phone. She didn't know how to cook, didn't know how to clean, didn't need to. That was my job. It had always been my job. I saved 3 months for his gift. 3 months. Late shifts, burnt hands, tips stuffed into socks so no one could take them. A leather wallet. Nothing fancy, but real. Honest. Something I thought, maybe, just maybe, would make him look at me like I mattered. I wrapped it myself, carefully, because I couldn't afford anything else. By evening, the house was full. Laughter, music, fake smiles. He sat at the head of the table like a king. She, his real daughter, gave him a luxury watch, $700. Everyone clapped. He hugged her. "My girl," he said. I stood in the corner holding my little package like it weighed 1,000 pounds, still hoping, still stupid enough to hope. When I handed it to him, time slowed. He unwrapped it, looked at it, flipped it once, then held it up like it offended him. "What kind of useless trash is this?" People shifted. Eyes dropped. No one said a word. I tried to explain. "I saved 3 months," he cut in, voice sharp, "and this is all I'm worth to you?" And then he stood, and then he hit me. Here's the thing about moments like that. You expect pain, but what you actually feel is clarity. Everything becomes loud and quiet at the same time. The truth doesn't whisper anymore. It screams. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't even look at him again. I walked to my room, a storage closet. No window, no air, just a mattress that wasn't mine to begin with. I packed what I could, a few clothes, toothbrush, cash I hid like it was illegal to survive, and one thing I didn't fully understand yet, an envelope. Old, official looking, forgotten by everyone except me. When I walked out the front door, nobody stopped me. Not him, not her, not anyone. That told me everything I needed to know. The night air hit different when you realize you don't belong anywhere. It's colder, quieter, lonelier. I walked with no plan, just away, always away. A black SUV pulled up beside me. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Bad idea. Everything in me said run, but when you've spent your whole life running from pain, sometimes you stop, just to see what happens. A man stepped out, mid-50s, sharp, calm, but his hands were shaking. Behind him, a woman, professional, observing everything. He looked at me like he'd been looking for me for a long time. My name is Richard. Pause. And then 5 words that changed everything. I believe I'm your father. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was impossible. My parents didn't want me, I said. That's what I was told. He shook his head. Softly. You were told wrong. He showed me a photo. A woman, holding a baby. The baby had my eyes. The woman had my face. Or maybe I had hers. That's the moment something inside me cracked open. Not broke. Opened. Like a door that had been locked my whole life. We sat in that car for hours, and piece by piece, my life rewrote itself. My mother died when I was 2. My father, this man, was injured, hospitalized, unconscious, and while he was fighting to live, someone signed papers. Papers he never signed. Papers that gave me away. Stolen. That's the word. Not adopted, not placed. Stolen. And then came the part that hit harder than anything else. The envelope I'd saved. It wasn't random. It was proof. Every month they were paid to keep me. Paid. To raise me. To control me. To use me. I wasn't a daughter. I was income. Let that sink in. Everything made sense after that. The control, the isolation, the way they never let me have ID, documents, independence. Because if I left, the money stopped. That slap wasn't about the gift. It was because I had finally said no. We went to a hotel that night. Clean sheets, a window. I stood there for 10 minutes just looking outside because I hadn't had a window in years. Do you know what that does to a person? Days later, we did a DNA test. I needed proof. Not promises, not emotions. Facts. 5 days later, 99.998%. He was my father. I didn't cry, not right away. I just sat there thinking I wasn't unwanted. All those years, that lie had been living inside me, and it died in one moment. Court came fast. Faster than I expected, but I was ready. Not because I was strong, because I was done being silent. They walked in like they owned the place, like they always did, confident, untouchable, until the evidence started talking. Forged signatures, money transfers, witness testimony, years of neglect, all laid out, clean, undeniable. And then I spoke. For the first time in my life, I spoke. I didn't yell. I didn't break. I just told the truth. I wasn't a daughter, I said. I was a transaction. The room went quiet. Because truth does that. It doesn't need volume. And then, something no one expected happened. She, my mother, stood up. Confessed. Everything. The lie collapsed right there. In real time. The judge didn't hesitate. The adoption? Void. Gone. Like it should have never existed. My name? Restored. Hillary. And just like that, I got my life back. Outside the courthouse, he called me by the wrong name one last time. Allison. I turned, looked him dead in the eye. My name is Hillary. And then I said something I had waited 21 years to say. You didn't raise me. You used me. And I walked away. For real this time. 6 months later, I have a small apartment with big windows. That matters more than you think. I'm studying, learning, living, not surviving, living. My father, my real one, makes terrible dinners every Sunday. Burnt garlic bread, overcooked everything, and somehow it's the best meal I've ever had. Because it's real. Here's what I want you to understand. This isn't a revenge story. It's a truth story. Some people don't love you. They benefit from you. And when you stop being useful, they call you ungrateful. If you've ever felt like that, like you had to earn your place in your own family, listen carefully. You were never the problem. You were just surrounded by people who didn't know what love was. And one day, when you walk away, you'll realize something powerful. You weren't losing everything. You were finally free. My name is Hillary, and for the first time in my life, I know exactly who I am.